Have you ever wondered if tomorrow you lost everything? How many of those you call close friends would truly remain by your side right now? We often use our deep capacity for understanding to find excuses for the cold indifference of others, forgetting that true connection requires mutual effort always. You tell yourself they are just busy, they are tired, or they have their own secret struggles, but you ignore the painful truth staring at you. Someone who actually fears losing you will never leave you alone to search for excuses or reasons to justify their sudden and hurtful silence lately. We surround ourselves with people, hoping for warmth, but sometimes the circles we build are filled with ghosts who vanish when the lights go out. Ask yourself if they would reach out if you stopped being the one to bridge the gap every single time a silence falls between you. True friendship is not a one-way street where you provide all the fuel while they simply enjoy the ride without offering anything in return. Your kindness has become a shield they use to protect themselves from the consequences of their neglect, leaving you vulnerable and very alone in time. It is exhausting to be the only person keeping a connection alive, especially when the other person doesn't even notice the effort you are making. Stop apologizing for people who aren't even sorry for hurting you. Stop making room for those who have already packed their bags to leave you. The silence you are hearing is actually an answer, a loud declaration that you are not as important to them as they are to you now. You deserve to be a priority, not an option they choose only when they have nothing better to do or when they need something from you. Being alone is far better than being with people who make you feel lonely. Protect your energy from those who only take without ever giving. Your empathy is a gift, but it should be reserved for those who value it, not used to justify the behavior of those who ignore. Let us explore why we cling to these excuses and how the illusion of busyness is often used as a tool to distance oneself from others. No one is ever truly too busy to send a quick text. It is simply a matter of where you fall on their priority list. When you choose to understand their constant busyness, you are teaching them that it is perfectly okay to ignore your presence without any guilt at all. It takes 10 seconds to say hello, yet they choose to spend hours scrolling through the lives of strangers instead of acknowledging your heartfelt message today. You are running in circles trying to find a way back into their life, while they are standing outside the maze, watching you struggle with indifference. The word busy has become a polite way to say, you are not important enough for me to make time for right now, in reality. When someone wants to be with you, they will find a way. When they don't, they will find an excuse that sounds like a reasonable explanation. Understanding the busy lie is a form of self-sabotage that keeps you waiting for a train that is never actually going to arrive at your station. Your phone is a window to your heart, but for them, it is just a screen they can turn off whenever they feel slightly inconvenienced by you. Stop checking your phone for a message that isn't coming. Stop making excuses for the person who hasn't even thought about you in several days. Observe how they find time for everyone else except you, and let that realization sink in until it finally changes the way you see them now. Time is the most valuable thing anyone can give, and when they refuse to give it to you, they are telling you your worth clearly. How much more of your life are you willing to waste waiting for a busy person to finally realize that you are worth their precious time? The excuses they give you are like thin glass. They look pretty until they shatter and leave you bleeding from the sharp edges of the truth. Walk away from the lies and the half-hearted efforts. You deserve someone who is excited to talk to you, not someone who treats you like work. Don't let their lack of time make you feel like you are running out of yours. Your time is too sacred to be spent on neglect. Realize that "I don't have time" is just another way of saying, "I don't value this relationship enough to make space for it in my life." Take back your time, take back your energy, and stop being the person who waits by the phone for a ghost who will never truly return. It is time to face the mirror and look at the person who has been hurting the most, yourself, for allowing this to continue for so long. Let us look into the mechanism of self-deception and why we choose to believe the lies we are told by those who should love us. Why are we so incredibly talented at writing scripts for others? We create a version of them in our heads that simply does not exist. We do this because we are terrified of the truth that they don't love us with the same intensity we give to them. You keep erasing their mistakes, their late nights, their forgotten promises, and their sharp words, trying to keep the page clean and perfect for them. But the more you erase their faults, the thinner your own soul becomes, until there is nothing left of you but a fragile, broken shadow of yourself. You patch up your heart with excuses like, "They had a hard childhood," or "Work is just too much right now to avoid the pain." While you are busy being their therapist and their savior, who is looking after the deep, unhealed wounds that are currently bleeding inside your own chest? Stop writing the hero's journey for someone who is clearly playing the villain in your life story. You are not their narrator, you are their victim. Self-deception is a high-security prison we build for ourselves because we think the outside world of reality is too cold and too lonely to face. You can't hide from what your soul already knows. You know they aren't coming back the way you need them to, no matter how much you wait. Look at the ink on your hands. That is the weight of all the stories you've told yourself to justify staying in a place where you're unloved. Let the excuses fall away. Let the maybes and the ifs dissolve until you are left with the simple, undeniable fact of their total absence. Forgiveness is for people who ask for it. Understanding is for people who try. But for those who don't care, there should only be boundaries. Start writing your own story again, one where you are the protagonist who values their own peace more than the approval of a neglectful person. Breaking the illusion is painful, but it is the only way to breathe again. The shards of the lie will eventually become the wings of freedom. Every excuse you stop making for them is a brick you remove from the wall that has been keeping you from finding real, genuine love. Wisdom comes when we stop asking, "Why did they do this?" and start asking, "Why am I still allowing them to do this to me?" The truth will set you free, but first, it might make you miserable. Embrace the misery because it is the beginning of your true healing process. You are no longer the author of their lies. You are now the guardian of your own reality and the master of your own heart. Walking through the truth is like walking through fire. You will lose everything that was never real, leaving only what is truly yours forever. Leave the apologies for those who actually committed the sins. You have nothing to be sorry for when you were the only one trying. Let the rain wash away the stories you told to survive. You don't need those scripts anymore because you are finally living in the present. Now that you have cleared the weeds of deception, something real can finally start to grow in the quiet garden of your newly freed soul. Let us examine the high cost of one-sided sacrifice and what happens when we give everything to a person who gives us absolutely nothing. Sacrifice without limits will eventually lead to demands without end. You are pouring your life into a vessel that has a massive hole. When you give too much of your deep understanding, people begin to see it as their divine right and your primary responsibility in the relationship. The other side of the scale, labeled their appreciation, holds a single tiny feather and stays high in the air, completely and painfully empty. You are literally exhausting your spirit to keep a dying flame alive, while the other person has already walked away and turned out the lights. You cannot set yourself on fire just to keep someone else warm, especially when they aren't even bothering to acknowledge the heat you are providing. Some things are dead, and no amount of your love, your time, or your excuses will ever bring them back to life again in reality. The cost of your loyalty to them is the betrayal of yourself. Stop being the person who pays for everyone else's lack of care today. Remember the person you were before you started carrying their burdens? That version of you is still there, waiting for you to come back home. It is not your job to be a martyr for a cause that was abandoned by the other side months or even several long years ago. Let the dead weight go. The more you hold on to the past, the less strength you have to build a future that actually serves you. This seed is your self-worth. It is small right now because you haven't nurtured it, but it has the potential to grow into a fortress. The imbalance is over because you have decided to stop playing the game. You are no longer a participant in your own emotional destruction now. You are recovering your energy, one breath at a time, and every breath is a declaration of independence from those who didn't truly value you. The environment responds to your inner change. When you stop tolerating neglect, the world around you begins to reflect your newfound inner peace. Now is the moment to learn the art of letting go and how to set the boundaries that will protect your heart forevermore. It is time to close the book of excuses and burn it to ashes. Let the fire consume the lies you told yourself to stay. Say it out loud. I understand your reasons, but I no longer accept the way you choose to treat me as a final farewell. This circle is your boundary. It is not a wall to keep people out, but a gate to let only the respectful and loving in. When they try to return with more empty words, the boundary will hold firm, protecting you from the cycle of hurt you have finally escaped. Letting go of someone who doesn't fear losing you is not a failure. It is the most significant victory of your entire life so far. You haven't lost a love, you have simply stopped chasing a ghost. You are taking back the space in your heart for someone worthy. The world opens up when you stop shrinking yourself to fit into someone else's narrow and selfish vision of what you should be today. Your self-respect is the compass that will guide you to where you are truly celebrated, not just tolerated because you are convenient for them. Don't be afraid of the unknown behind the door. Whatever is there is better than the known misery you have left behind in the dark. You are walking into your own power, leaving the shadows of neglect to find the sunshine of genuine appreciation and real, honest connection now. There are people who will cherish your compassion and return it tenfold. You just have to stop wasting it on those who don't. This is what you deserve. A community where your presence is valued and your efforts are met with equal passion and consistent care every day. The sky is the limit when you are no longer weighed down by the anchor of someone else's indifference and your own self-deception. The past is a finished story, and the future is a blank page waiting for you to write a masterpiece of self-love and genuine happiness. Let us take a final moment to breathe and integrate these lessons into our souls for a life of peace and true self-worth. Don't use your understanding to build bridges for those who only want to leave. Use it to build walls that protect your precious heart. You are worthy of a love that doesn't require you to constantly search for reasons or excuses. You are enough exactly as you are. May you find the strength to choose yourself every single day. Rest now in the knowledge that you are finally free. Be at peace.